Also on consent is a continuing resolution in support of safe and inclusive environment for all students and employees and a more inclusive Virginia Human Rights Act. Mr. McDonald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's my honor to present the continuing resolution in support of a safe and inclusive environment for all students and employees and more inclusive Virginia Human Rights Act. Whereas the mission of the school division states, Virginia Beach City Public Schools, in partnership with the entire community, will empower every student to become a lifelong learner who is responsible, productive, and engaged citizen within the global community. And whereas the school division, to accomplish this mission, students, staff, and other stakeholders must find the educational environment welcoming, engaging, and free from those influences that disrupt students from educational pursuits. And whereas the school division is committed to providing an educational and work environment that prohibits discriminatory or harassing conduct, and to adopt policies and regulations that prohibit unlawful harassment, discrimination, bullying, or other conduct that disrupts the learning environment for our students or prevents employees from performing their duties. And whereas the school board acknowledges that including sexual orientation and gender identity as prohibited bases for discriminatory or harassing conduct would benefit the school division by recruiting and retaining qualified personnel and enhancing student safety. And whereas the Virginia Human Rights Act does not explicitly protect students and employees of the school division from unlawful harassment and discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity. And whereas the school board may lack the authority to adopt policies or regulations that would enlarge the bases for unlawful, discriminatory, or harassing policies enumerated by the Virginia Human Rights Act, Code of Virginia 2.2-3900, until amended accordingly by the Virginia General Assembly. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Virginia Beach City Public Schools remains committed to an environment free from unlawful harassment and discrimination for the stakeholders in the school division, and the school board supports amending the Virginia Human Rights Act, Code of Virginia 2.2-3900 to include sexual orientation and gender identity as unlawful bases for discriminatory or harassing practices, and the school board directs the superintendent to explore concerns that students, staff, and stakeholders may have regarding how sexual orientation and gender identity affect the educational and work environment, and to report to the school board the findings and suggestions for addressing those issues. And an editor's note citing this resolution shall be incorporated by reference in School Board Policy 4-4 and School Board Policy 5-7. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be spread across the official minutes of this board, and that the clerk is directed to send copies of this resolution to the Governor of Virginia and duly elected members of the Virginia House of Delegates and Virginia Senate representing the city of Virginia Beach.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. That constitutes the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion for approval. Motion, Mr. McDonald. Second, Mr. Tenko. The voting board is open. The consent agenda is approved.